Shalom Aleichem, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Machan Leira Online Smicha. As we're getting close to Yom Kippur, I would like to discuss a halacha, or maybe a minig, but it's actually brought in Shulchan Aruch in Hilchos Yom Kippur, Simin Tov Rei Zayin, Siv Dalid. And that's the concept of Malkos. Getting Malkos, the lashes, before Yom Kippur. Now, it was interesting to see, I just was in a shul before, I never knew, I know how I've been brought up and how Malkos is done, but in the shul there was a sign, the Gabbai will be available at this and this time to give Malkos. I never knew you need a Gabbai to be available. You make good whoever is available. Let's talk a little about Malkos, what different customs there are, and talk a little about it. I once already gave a class many years ago, because if sometimes women, especially the ones who are just learning the new halachas, they want to be frum. There's different customs. I heard that there are some women that started doing kriya aleinu l'shabech. I don't know. I never saw this, but women definitely don't do Malkos. It's brought in Mekar Chaim Simin Tafrei Zayin. Really, the women should give each other Malkos. But because in the time of the Malkos, they would have gotten in Chas v'Shalom just like men. But the minig is not, women don't do this minig of Malkos. So what is this Malkos all about? Especially that in the Tur and the Levush speak about the Kaf HaChaim brings that you should not get Malkos in the erev Yom Tov, since erev Yom Kippur is considered a Yom Tov. And in the Yom Tov, we don't get Malkos, and you don't do Malkos in Erev Yom Tov. We know from Hilchos Dayanim that Bezdin doesn't sit in Erev Yom Tov anyways. So, this is different than Bezdin as a financial matter or a punishment. But Mekaf HaChaim brings that there are many people that don't do the Malkos. But L'Poyel, as it's mentioned in Shulchan Aruch Tafrei Zayin, that there's a minute to get Malkos after Mincha. What's the reason for the Malkos? The reason for the Malkos is, so mitoich kach, when you get the Malkos, yitin al libay loshuv me'averish b'yodei. You'll think about to repent, to return, regret whatever avera you might have had. And chas v'sholem, if the avera would have brought up Malkos, so it brings you to do tshuva. V'oid, and another reason is brought, k'dei lahachniya levavei, to make you a little more humble, a little more brokenhearted. So you should serve the Eibishter with more fear. So these are the different reasons that are brought why we do Malkos. How many Malkos do you give? So the custom is you do the traditional 39. You do the traditional 39 Malkos, 39 lashes. Now it's brought. The Pri Eitz Chaim brings, and the Magen Avram brings it, that the Arizal wasn't really makmid on the number of 40 or 39. He would do 4 Malkos, 4 lashes, connected the 4 letters of Oisius Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And actually amongst the Hasidic groups, I read that the bells and Babiv, they actually only do 4. But many other many other groups do the traditional Malkos of 39. There are those that say, as mentioned before, that Malkos should be done before Mincha and before you go to the mikveh. Incidentally, even though many people are makbid to go mikveh very often, either every Erev Shabbos, every day, some Chassidim go. Erev Yom Tov, on Erev Yom Kippur, it's a must. And Erev Kippur, it's reasons brought in Shulchan Aruch why you go to the mikveh. Some people have a custom even go 3 times to the mikveh Erev Yom Kippur. Once early morning before Kaparas, once before Mincha, and once right before Kol Nidre. Whatever it is, whatever the minute you have is good, but at least one time you go to the mikveh. So, as I mentioned before, many places is the minhag to get Malkos before Mincha, before Tefillah, and the order also comes along with the different punishments. What comes first? Eish, Mayim, So that even the order has a rhyme and a reason. Now I read something very interesting. Where should the Malkos be given? Okay, I never thought about it. I thought wherever, just get it done. I know that the Rebbe, obviously, nobody wanted to see the Rebbe get Malkos. The Rebbe did it in his room privately. Somebody came, the Rabbi Kalmanson used to give the Rebbe Malkos, and that's it. But it's actually brought in the tour that the Malkos should be given in the shul. And I see a reason, a very nice reason, what makes sense why it should be done in the shul. Because the whole reason it's brought, that the reason why you give Malkos before Mincha in the shul, because that's when people are available, that's when people are there, and it actually creates a little embarrassment. You actually want to become embarrassed. In other words, you want it to have part of the punishment, part of the kapara, is when you get a little embarrassed from your sin. So if you're doing it hush hush, big deal. What's it going to help? So some say it should be taka done in public, in a shul, that will arouse you to do more shuvah for your avera. And it's brought that many people are taka makbid to do it in the shul, but again, whatever your custom is. When it comes to Malkos, even though obviously we have the halacha of honor and respect, a father and a son to a father, a student to a teacher, it's brought in Poskim that this is a case where a son is allowed to give his father Malkos and a student is allowed to give his teacher Malkos, because the Ramah says that you don't really give a zetz. You just do a light tap as a zikaron for the Malkos. So therefore, it's not the end of the world if the son gives the father Malkos or the student gives the teacher Malkos. When should Malkos be given? Again, as mentioned before, preferably before Mincha, but you could do it any time of the day in erev Yom Kippur, but not too early, not before the day starts. But any time of the day you could do Malkos. The minig is that the person getting the Malkos, it doesn't stand. He sits, he leans on his knees, his face facing Tzafon, and his backside to Durham. And that's also mentioned in Shulchan Aruch, because Tzafon is where the money comes from. Tzafon is where the troubles come. There's a Lashon HaPasuk that says that the troubles come from the Tzafon side. All right. Now, it's interesting that, again, once you grow up doing these things, you think everything makes, but there's a reason for this. There's actually a chiddush in this, that the person getting Malkos doesn't stand and doesn't sit, he's on his knees. Why? Because it's actually brought, we know where does the Malkos being given in the backside. Well, if you look in Gemara Sanhedrin, you find that the Rambam in Perek Tazayim from Hilchas Sanhedrin, Halacha Tes, says that when the Bezdin, God forbid, used to give people Malkos back then, it wasn't on the backside. It was shlish, a third of it was on the front, on the chest, and 2/3 on the back. One on the right side and one on the left side. So one third of the 39 Malkos were given actually on your chest. So if this is really a Malkos, why are we doing it on the backside 39 times? It should be some up front. However, because this is only a Zecher, it passes this way. Another difference we find between this and the real Malkos, as it was back then, the person wasn't fully dressed. He was getting lashed heavy straight on his flesh. Today's days, nobody's getting undressed for Malkos. So again, it is just a Zecher. It's actually brought, in Keser Shem Tov, it's actually brought that some people, when they do the Malkos erev Yom Kippur, actually do it the way it was back then. I'll tell you something very interesting. By kaparas, when you do kaparas with a chicken, so there's many, okay, obviously you say, Zeh kaparasi, Zeh chalifasi, Zeh atar negar yelech lamisa, v'ani yelech l'chaim tov meruchim b'shalom. So there are some people that have the custom that while you're holding the chicken, and you're performing this, you do arba Mrs. Bezdin on it. How? Eventually it's going to be shechted. That's one form of death. And then you hold the chicken and you sort of drop it on the floor. That's equivalent to skila. And you do something to the feather, like burn it a little, so it should be streifa. So, because to use the arba Mrs. Bezdin, to do the arba Mrs. Bezdin for the in case chas v'shalom the person deserves it. So we do want to get the person to, if chas v'shalom he deserves it, it should be done and given and passed with what he's experiencing now, and not chas v'shalom the real way. So what happens when the Malkos is actually being given? So there are many minhagim. Some minhagim are that the person giving the Malkos says, "V'hu rachem yechaper avin." That pasuk, "V'hu rachem yechaper avin l'yashas v'hir b'l'hashav apei v'lo yorek kol chamasei." Because in this pasuk, if you say it 3 times, it's 39 words. So v'hu rachem, it's for the 39 Malkos. Now, that's the person giving it. How about the person getting the Malkos? So over here we have different minhagim. Some say the person getting Malkos, while he's getting it, should say Ashamti, Bagadni, should say Vidui, the confession. And others, and that's including the Lubavitch minig, is that the people getting Malkos also say V'hu Racham.